me breathe. Every time I feel, can't do no different. Swear me out for win. When sewing down a closure or a frontal, in this case we're sewing down a closure, the first thing you want to do is position the lace where you want it to be and have your client hold one side. You want to position the lace at least an inch or a half inch in front of the hairline, because as you sew, it's going to naturally slide back, and as the hair grows, it's going to slide back. So you want to give your client as much wear out of this closure as possible. So you're going to go through the lace and through the braid. When going through the lace, you're going to go through a couple of holes, 2 to 3 holes, because the bigger section of the lace you take, if it was to tear, you would have a big hole, and nobody wants that. So you keep going. I use the lock stitch method. I feel like it's more secure without the buckling. And you continue on to the next braid until you have about an inch or so left on the closure, and then you move on to the next side. Do the same thing through the lace, through the braid. And as I'm going, I'm pulling. The client no longer needs to hold it because that other side is secure, and I'm just doing all the pulling. Now we're gonna move on to the perimeter. I like to sew one side at a time. So you do the lock stitch method, and the net comes in handy because it's more secure, because I am not only sewing onto the braid, so my stitches can be closer. So you sew one side, you get another needle, you sew the other side, and this helps me to pull the lace so there's no buckling, and then we move on to the back. As we stitch, we pull, so there's no bunching of the lace, and you keep doing that. See, I'm continuing with the 2 needles until we get to the middle, and then you knot it up and you secure it, and then you move on to the front flaps. Now we're gonna move on to the flaps, because we did move the closure up an inch to an inch and a half above the hairline, in front of the hairline. So what you wanna do is make your first stitch closest to the braid, and you go through the lace and you go through the entire braid and you tighten. And you keep on doing this until you get to the end of that flap. And I like to secure it further down on the braid. The further I get to the tip of the lace, I just find that that makes it a little bit more secure without it being over directed to the back. Now, while doing this, I have asked my clients if they feel any tension or any pulling or any tightness, and they always say no. So the perimeter braids are very important to make sure they are sturdy and secure. If the client has shorter hair, you want to make sure you add braiding here to make sure it is a secure and firm braid. It does not need to be very tight, it just needs to be secure. And then now you move on to the other side, and as you do this, the lace tightens, flattens, and becomes seamless. So with this specific client, we did not bleach the knots. That was her preference, but we still get a nice natural look. So she does have a little bit of hair in the front, which she normally shaves off, but the lace, as you can tell, it looks very natural. No glue. Get into it. Hey guys, it's me, Kat, and if you're still here and you want to see a more detailed version of how I sew in my lace closures and my frontals, just let me know in the comments. And if you are new here and you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you do so that you won't miss the video when I do post it. Also, if you're interested in learning some tips and some tricks on how to care for your natural hair under your protective styles, make sure you guys go and watch my next video. Until next time.